sorry, sir. I don't know whether you can make some remarks. Sir, as the pioneer speaker of Ebonyi State House of Assembly, how do you feel about goings on in the Assembly, and especially what transpired last night?
I feel disturbed that the state is degenerating into something nobody can explain. Violence, violence, and violence. What moderates all of us that made us human beings is the moral consciousness. And the moment man loses the moral consciousness, which moderates our conscience, even moderates our political ideologies, and even our religious thinking and legal rights, the moment you lose that moral consciousness, man becomes an animal. And I think what is happening now is reminiscent of an attempt to destroy the entire state. Because a situation where people, the only thing they think about is crime. The rate of crime in Ebonyi State now is such that nobody can imagine it. I understand the visiting AIG in control of this zone said the worst place in terms of crime rate in his zone is Ebonyi State. And look at Ebonyi State. Look at Ebonyi State. So I don't know how to describe this situation, but I think people who set out a mechanism to destroy themselves, such people are actually not doing the state a favor. What is happening now is something that nobody can describe. One cannot imagine that in Ebonyi State, House of Assembly will be set ablaze. People are killed because of political differences. Properties are burnt because of political differences. Schemings to destroy, to kill, to maim, just because of political differences or because of desperate. People want to govern at all costs. Efforts of any magnitude does not in any way qualify success. All efforts we make it as humans. The success belongs to God. And I am pleading with all politicians in Ebonyi State to trade with caution so that the state might be saved. To trade with caution so that the future of our children will not be jeopardized. To trade with caution so that they can still be a state to govern. Because what is happening today is not good. It portends us as cannibals, portends us as wicked people. It portends Ebonyi State as a place riddled with criminals. It portends Ebonyi State as people who do not love one another, do not love the future of the state. If there are people who do not believe in Ebonyi State, let them not destroy the state. If there are people who believe that for them Ebonyi State is not a place that they have any stake, let them for God's sake not destroy this state. I plead with them in the name of God, because this state is given to us by His grace, by God Himself. And every Ebonyi man who loves peace must work hard to save the state, to save the future of our children, and to ensure unity in the state. This is condemnable, and I condemn in totality this act of vandalism, I was a pioneer speaker of this State House of Assembly, and when I was speaker here, this place was like a church. The friendliness, the unity, the oneness that existed was unprecedented. And I think the devil has incarnated our society in Ebonyi State is such that we require fervent prayers, serious prayers to ensure that that peace and unity that existed, that permitted the state, will continue to flourish for us to continue to live together as one people with one destiny.
So could that be reason why that informed the decision or suggestion that if voted into power, you decentralize the three arms of government?
Well, that has been my mission and vision, that if you go to South Africa, you find decentralization of the arms of government. One, it reduces pressure on land acquisition in the state capital, so that landowners will also enjoy the inheritance which their forefathers and their fathers bequeathed to them. When you allow only the executive arm of government at the state capital and move the judiciary to a different zone and the legislature to a different zone, so that those zones will also be part of sharing from the government land acquisition. That is my intention, by the special grace of God, if God gives us the mantle of leadership in the state. Because when you concentrate government structures in a place, and there is a mishap, everything will be gone. So that is, it also encourages spread in development in the three zones. So that is
so it is like the accounts department was targeted. What do you make of it?
Well, that is unknown to anyone but God and those who did it.
So before we let you go, sir, apart from advising politicians generally, we know that you held sway during the golden era of Ebonyi State House of Assembly. And the event in recent times is not only disturbing, but people are really not, it's very, very apprehensive. Will you have any word of advice to the lawmakers we have today? Just today that the seat of the Deputy Speaker was declared vacant, and one other member, bringing to 6 number of seats that so far been declared vacant, and some other happenings in the House. Will you have a word of advice for them?
Yes. Well, without interfering with the function of the state legislature, the legislature is the most important arm of government, indeed the very first arm of government. And the legislature is one arm of government that is foremost. I want to say that in any democracy where the legislature is afraid of anybody, that democracy is gone. In any democracy where the legislature compromises, that democracy is gone. In any democracy where the legislature is in crisis, the executive, no matter how benevolent, will not perform. And that is what has grossly affected Ebonyi State in this republic. I advise my brothers, my sisters in the Ebonyi State House of Assembly to tread with caution, because there is still tomorrow. I advise them to be united to save this state. I advise them to work together to ensure that our democracy is saved in Ebonyi State. I advise them to ensure that they continue to work as a team to give the people of Ebonyi State the unity that is deserved. Let me emphasize that a process where the legislature members of the legislature do not work together. That democracy is in tatters. That democracy is in shambles. That society will never be at peace. Every member of the House of Assembly comes from a constituency. He represents a constituency. What the constituencies deserve is robust legislation that will usher in equitable distribution of amenities, that will usher in democracy dividends, that will usher in peace, that will usher in unity in that state. Not the one that will degenerate into crisis. Not the one that will degenerate into the type of thing we're witnessing today. I appeal to our brothers. They have the capacity, they are intelligent people, they are sincere and wonderful people of Ebonyi State. The members of the House of Assembly have the capacity and what it takes to arrest the situation and ensure that there is unity in this state. That is what will benefit our constituents. That is what will benefit the people of Ebonyi State. That is what will consolidate the peace and unity of the states.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.